All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, the top sex mistakes in Christian marriage and how to correct them. So, a lot of times as Christian guys, high achieving Christian guys, we kind of think about sex in problematic ways that are definitely a mistake and turn our wives off and lead to problems. My name is Mike Frazier, MD, and I help high achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So, few wins from the guys in our program. So one of our guys shares this week has been great. My wife and I have been working well with one another, working through small things that a month ago would have been a stupid fight. It finally feels like we're on the right track. Awesome. So creating that mental and emotional intimacy. My wife really opened up to me about some of the deeper issues she's been feeling. She's feeling safe with me, and we're really connecting at a deeper level. Super cool wins. That mental emotional intimacy 99.99% of the time needs to precede that sexual intimacy. And in a marriage, it pretty much 100% of the time. So look, sex is an important part of marriage. It's a great part of marriage. It's what makes marriage different than other relationships, especially from the Christian mindset. But as Christian men, there are certain things that we think, feel, and do that can create problems in our marriage and problems with sex specifically. So, we're going to look at some of the biggest ones today and how to avoid those problematic ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. So, one of the most problematic beliefs and thoughts that guys have, high achieving Christian men have, is that we should be having sex more often than we are. Okay. So we kind of have this number in our mind, whether that's like every day or 5 days a week or 3 days a week or once a week or once a month or once a year. I think most guys at once a year, they probably would think, yeah, more than that probably makes sense. But whatever that number is, it's a problem, because what we start thinking is if we're not having sex that often, if we're not having sex 3 times a week, once a week, twice a month, whatever, right? If we're not having it that often, something's wrong. Okay. And actually, this idea is sometimes encouraged by well-meaning Christian church leaders. So, some of the books like His Needs, Her Needs, and that kind of thing, they'll just say basically, yeah, or love and respect, they basically just say, well, the wife should just have sex with her husband more, right? That's the solution. And like, I even talked to a guy who had this problem, right? He wanted sex more often than his wife. Typically, often that's the way it is. They went to see kind of some church people that were supposed to help them, and they basically just told the wife, well, you should just have sex more often than you actually want to. So the problem is, like, that creates a real issue for her, and we'll get to that later. But like, if you want passionate sex, it cannot be based on, it's my responsibility to have sex with my husband. It's my responsibility to meet his sexual needs, or else he's going to go somewhere else. So if your wife's doing it out of duty or out of fear that you're going to go somewhere else, like, that is not passionate, intimate sex, right? And so it's not something she's going to really look forward to. And so it's going to build up this resentment in her over time until finally she just kind of cuts it off. That's what happens when you kind of think, well, it should be happening this much. And even if she buys into it, but doesn't actually feel that way, doesn't actually want to have sex that often. Okay. So again, when you have this number in mind, okay, it's we should be having sex every day, 3 times a week, once a week, every other week, whatever, right? You start feeling anxious when you're not having sex that often. You start getting mad that you're not having sex that often, and you start feeling entitled to having sex that often, right? So all of those feelings, guys, they're not attractive. When you feel anxious, when you feel needy, when you feel angry, when you feel entitled, your wife, that's not a turn on. Okay. That's not a turn on for your wife. And so what you do is you start complaining, or you hope to convince your wife to have sex with you, or you like show her studies. Oh, look, we should be having sex this often. Or you bring her to your, church leader who tells you, so he can tell your wife to have sex with you more, right? All of that, guys, gross. She's not turned on by that approach. Okay. It's not going to create a passionate marriage, right? She's going to either maybe have duty sex with you for a while until she just gets sick of it, and then she's going to say no, right? But there's no passion. So another problematic thought that's kind of related to the last one is that she owes it to me, right? She owes sex to me. And this can come from a lot of different places. So one of those is just like, I have sexual needs and my wife needs to meet them. Okay. That's kind of our deal here. I'm going to do the I'm going to take care of the money and, whatever, and she's going to take care of sex for me. So another way we can think she owes it to us is just by being faithful to her, right? It's like, look, I have other sexual options, but I'm choosing you, so you owe it to me to do that, right? Or even like, you know, from a Christian standpoint, right? So I waited to have sex until marriage, or I'm keeping it faithful in the marriage. So look, like I'm keeping my part of the deal, so you need to keep your part of the deal and have sex with me. It can even feel like sort of a reward. You've saved yourself until marriage, and so the reward is now you have a wife who will have sex with you whenever you want. It's kind of how a lot of us come into marriage, and it's a problem, right? It creates these issues where we feel entitled to it. And so again, maybe she has duty sex with us for a while, but then she gets tired of it and she says she doesn't want to anymore. It's another one, right? I pay for things around the house, right? So she owes it to me. I'm taking care of my duties. This is part of her duties as a wife, is to have sex with me. What you need to understand about this, guys, this whole concept of she owes sex to me is treating her like a prostitute. It really is. Okay. You're trying to buy sex from her, and not even really trying to buy it. You're just saying, like, I've already paid for it. Now you owe it to me. Okay. So the feeling that you have is entitled to sex, right? And feeling entitled to sex, it is not attractive, guys. It just isn't. Okay. No wife is going to, like, if we took a survey of all the wives out there, there's no wife that's going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so turned on when my husband says that I just owe him sex because of everything that he's done for me. Like, I love it. Like, no wife will ever say that. Okay. So when you're feeling entitled, like she owes it to you, you feel entitled. So then the stuff you do, you might demand sex, you might act wounded when she says no, you might get angry when she says no, right? Like, you owe it to me. So why aren't you doing it? So again, she's not turned on by this approach. Okay. And so, yeah, maybe you get some duty sex, but it's going to be less. There's no passion. It's not something she's looking forward to. So another related thought that might seem like the solution, is I have to earn it. Okay. So, okay, maybe she doesn't owe it to me, but maybe I have to earn it, right? I have to do certain things so that she will, right? So that she will have sex with me. So, like, a classic one is, if I wash dishes, she's going to want to have sex with me, right? Or if I clean the house, right? Or if I really help with the kids more, women seem to like that. So if I do that, then, I will have earned it, right? I'll have earned her, wanting to have sex with me. Again, it seems nicer. Like, it's nicer than just saying, well, you owe it to me, right? But again, it's still treating her like a prostitute. You're still trying to trade services for sex, right? I'll do this for you, you do this for me. You're exchanging doing those nice things for sex. It's the mosquito method that we talk about, right? You do these nice things, but there's this kind of ulterior motive that, there's strings attached to the stuff that you're doing. You want sex back. That's why you're doing it. So the feeling you have, you feel needy, you feel kind of sneaky, right? Okay, like if I do this, you're not really telling her that's what you want for, doing the dishes or whatever. And then eventually you feel entitled, right? Because I have to earn it eventually shifts into I have earned it. I've done enough, and now you owe it to me. Okay. So again, that's treating like a prostitute. You're trying to trade something for sex. It's a problem. So again, you do nice things, you hope for sex. When you don't get it, eventually you get mad, right? And you escape into pornography or whatever, or you explode, you get mad at her. That's the mosquito cycle. Okay. And again, she's not turned on by this approach. Okay. So a wife she might say, yeah, I do like that my husband cleans the dishes, right? I do like that he helps with kids. He's a really good, partner at home. But if that's not translating into her, like, being passionate towards you, it's probably because she knows that you're doing those for a reason, and that reason is to try to earn sex from her. Okay. And it's not a turn on. So again, the result being you get less sex, or you get pity or duty sex, and there's no passion. She's not excited about it. So another problematic thought that Christian guys will have is that she's my only moral option for sex. Okay. So, like, I used to think this way, right? Like, so there's other people that I could have sex with, right? There's sexual interests. Women are interested in me. They're flirting with me, right? And, sometimes you get to thinking, like, in fact, I would even, like, prefer that in some ways. Maybe these other women, they would like sex more, they'd want to have sex more often, they sure seem interested, and all that. But I'm choosing not to, right? I Because I have to have sex with my wife, because it's wrong if I don't. So like it's crazy, right? So again, I have to choose her. She won't give it to me as much as I want, or she won't do it how I want, right? And so again, you can start feeling ripped off. You can start feeling ripped off by God. You can start feeling ripped off by your wife. Look, I did all this stuff, and now look, I'm trying to be moral with it, but she won't do what I want. So you can feel like you're settling. Oh, I could have somebody else, but now I have to choose her. You feel depressed. You feel entitled. All those feelings are very unattractive. Okay? Again, no wife is going to raise her hand and say, "Oh, wow, it's such a turn on when my husband tells me that he could have sex with other women, but he has to with me because that's our religion or that's our beliefs." Like, no women will say that. So like some examples of this, like I've shared this before, but like there were times when I was like thinking, oh, there's girls at work that are interested in me, or there's girls at church that maybe I could connect with them, and like that's not, but I can't, right? I want to, but I can't because I'm held back by my beliefs. Look, like that's just not attractive to her. Another guy that we worked with, he had given his wife a kiss and she didn't really want it, and in his mind he was saying like, well, there's plenty of other women that would have liked that kiss, right? So again, it's this same kind of concept, like I'm choosing you and you should be happy about that, right? Or you're my only moral option and I'm deciding to follow that. Like, look how holy I am because I am being faithful even though it's hard for me, right? So that's a one up, holier than thou attitude, which also comes with this, like, she's my only moral option and I'm choosing to be moral even though I'd rather not be. I'd rather have sex with a bunch of women or other women or all of this, right? But I'm not, and so because of that, you should have sex with me. Okay. So then you demand sex or you pout, or again, say someone else would enjoy this, right? So unattractive. Okay. So pretty much always in this situation, you're going to get less sex as a result. If you're walking around thinking, well, yeah, I guess I'll have sex with my wife because she's my only real moral option. I would choose someone else if I could, but, you know, I'm choosing her. Like it's such a big turnoff. Maybe you get some duty sex out of that, but again, there's no passion. And again, for her, it feels like an obligation, or like she's a second chance, or a last choice, or second choice, or last choice even, or like a leftover, someone that you just kind of settled for. So yeah, it's just awful to think this way. But I've thought this way. A lot of the guys I've worked with have thought this way. I think in the Christian community, we have this thought a lot, and it's a problem. Okay. Again, but it does not inspire her. It doesn't turn her on. There's no passion. So we talked about a lot of the things that women don't want. They don't want to feel like you're their only moral option. They don't want to feel like they owe you sex. Okay. It really kind of boils down to those two things in a lot of ways. They don't want to feel like they have to have sex with you, or else you're going to fall apart, or you're not going to be able to manage your emotions, or you're going to leave. So they have to, right? Obligated to feel sex women do not want that. Okay. And they don't want to feel like, oh, like, yeah, they're either the prize because you have kept your sexuality. Jennifer Finlayson Five talks about that, about like prizing. Um, and they definitely don't want to feel like sort of last choice just because, you're such a good Christian, you're going to have sex with her, even though you'd rather have sex with somebody else. Like, she definitely doesn't want to feel like that. So what does she want? Okay. She wants to be chosen. She wants to be chosen. She wants to feel like you choose her. Okay. So you know the show the Bachelor, right? In the Bachelor, there's like 20 whatever women, right? And they're going after one guy. Why? Because there's just something about being chosen out of lots of different options, right? I choose you. Okay. Women like that. Women watch the show because that's something that women want. They want to feel chosen. So do men too. But or Cinderella, right? The story of Cinderella, she goes to this ball and there's thousands of women there or whatever, and the prince chooses her. right? Chooses her out of all the maidens in the land, right? He chooses her. And women like this story. Why? Because they're chosen, right? Women want to feel like they are chosen. They also want to be desired passionately. Okay, they really do. Okay, so, and again, not just because you want to have sex with whoever's around, right? That's the problem with the like, she's my only moral option, or she's my most convenient option, or whatever, right? They want to be chosen because it's them, right? So you're chosen all these women, and then there's like that fire, that passion, that desire to be with them in a sexual way, right? That's about intimacy and connection, and just like this huge desire inside of you because you love them and want them so much. So again, on my interview with Jennifer Finley's and Five, she talked about, or I don't know if it was on her interview or in one of her other podcasts, she talks about her own kind of fantasies that she'd had about her husband like sneaking into her room when she was on her mission, actually, which, like, that's especially would be especially forbidden in LDS culture. And I think so. It's like, it's a mission you're supposed to be like just focused on God and not that. So, basically, the fantasy is this guy wants her so much that he's willing to like break all these rules and climb the window and be with her, right? My daughter was watching a show the other day where these girls were at a like a sleepover, and the boy like climbed the window and got in there just because he wanted to be with her so much. So women like this, right? They want to be desired passionately, that you'll go through all this to do that, that you'll come meet her at this is another one that I heard, like, a woman had this fantasy that she was at work and the guy would just come in and just like grab her right at work and start kissing her, right? Because he just had that passion for her. So women, they like that, they want that. And really the big problem with the other thoughts is that you're not showing that you're choosing her at all, right? You're just saying like, yeah, you owe it to me, right? I mean, maybe there's a little bit of that you're choosing her, but not really. Like, it's not in this sense of like, you're the one that I want to be with, you're the one that I want to spend my life with, I love you so much. No, it's just like, hey, you're here and now you owe me sex, right? Because I chose to marry you. And there's not really anything about desiring her in any of those, right? It's just like, I want sex because it feels good, and so you need to give it to me, right? There's not like a passionate desire for her, right? Maybe there's a desire for sex, but there's not a desire for her or to be with her. Okay. Women, they want to be chosen, they want to be desired passionately. Okay. So again, with the other ones, the problem is you're just desiring sex, and she happens to be the one that you can have it with while still keeping your Christian values. Okay, so she doesn't feel chosen in that. She doesn't feel desired in that. She just feels used like an object. Okay. And again, yeah, she's the one that owes it to you because that was part of the deal when you got married. Okay, so again, chosen and desired, turn on for her. Feeling obligated or second choice, not a turn on for her. Okay, you feeling like you love her and desire her, attractive feelings. You feeling like angry and entitled to sex, unattractive feelings. Okay, and this is what we really work on in the program, is like walking around with feeling states that are attractive: confidence, passion, desire, right? When you're walking around really feeling those for your wife, she's attracted to that. When you're walking around with feelings like anger and resentment and entitlement, those are not attractive. Okay, that's kind of the baseline. So what else do women want, right? So definitely they want to feel chosen, they want to feel passionate. When it comes to sex especially, that's what are turn-ons for them. Okay, but once you're in a marriage, women also want to feel safe, right? This is so important. So this comes from you being a trustworthy person, making and keeping your promises, following through with the big and small things. Okay, if you've broken her trust through infidelity or something like that, this is harder to rebuild, but you can, right? By making and keeping promises. The other way you make her feel safe is really by valuing her opinion mentally and emotionally, right? You're valuing her, you're showing that she matters. Okay, this helps her feel safe. Women also want to feel mentally and emotionally connected to you, right? And what this comes from is your ability to really listen and understand her well. Okay, connect in those ways. That way you can then get to where you're working as a team. and you're connected and you're just a team through life, right? She wants to feel that too, right? And a lot of times these things need to come before she feels like she can open herself up to you sexually, right? She wants to feel like you're a safe person, that you're trustworthy. She wants to feel like her values, her what she thinks and feels is important to you. She wants to feel that mental emotional connection. And then when you come and you show you choose her and you desire her passionately, now that she has those other things in place, that she feels safe and she feels valued, now, yeah, she loves it when you're coming at her and you have that real passion and intimacy for and passion and desire for her. Okay. So then she really chooses you as her life and sexual partner because, you're a good choice at that point. You're a trustworthy man. You value her. You can take care of your own emotions. You can listen to hers. You can, get to agreements that work for both of you. Right. So to be able to get there, here's the skills you need to have a great sex life in your marriage. You need to be a man of integrity, and you need to know how to apologize when you're not. You need to know how to connect mentally at a deep level. You need to know how to connect emotionally at a deep level. You need to learn how to turn conflicts into more connections. You can walk together in partnership, through your life. And then you need to know how to show your sexual desire for your wife in an attractive way. Again, showing that you choose and desire her, not just sex. Okay, so we work on all of these skills in my program, Love, Intimacy, and Legacy. Guys are getting awesome results. It's better. The program is better than it's ever been, right? You're going to replace unattractive habits of thinking, feeling, and acting with attractive habits of thinking, feeling, and acting. Okay, that's what we're doing. Guys are getting results fast because we do work every day to help get you there. Okay, you get daily coaching, get daily accountability to build up these strengths and skills. You just can't fail. You can't fail when you replace unattractive ways of thinking, feeling, and acting with attractive ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. So, love to have you in the program. Again, this is for high achieving men, meaning that you are a professional, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you've reached the levels of financial success, and are someone that's ready to put in 1 to 2 hours a day to really transform their marriage and create mental, emotional, and sexual intimacy. So if that's you and you're a Christian guy, you have Christian values, visit MikeFrazierMD.com. That's MikeFrazierMD.com, or StrongMenStrongMarriages.com if that's easier to remember. The links are also in the show notes. Come there and schedule a call. We'll talk. You'll fill out an application. We'll see if you're a good fit. And then you can jump in and start creating that mental, emotional, and sexual intimacy that you want. And you will get there by transforming these habits. All right, men, stay strong. We'll see you next episode.